I grew up when the buses still ran on time, and a wage could carry a family of 4. You could leave school Friday and start work Monday, and still put a deposit down by 24. We marched against Thatcher, marched against Iraq, collected for the miners in the rain. Thought history bent slowly towards something better. Now I'm not so certain again. Now Facebook's full of old friends shouting like the country's a pub at closing time. Everyone calling everyone fascists or traitors over memes and headlines and half-read lines. And I'll admit it frightens me sometimes how quick we are to condemn. 'Cause once you stop seeing people as human beings, you can justify anything then. And my kids will have it harder than I did. That much is painfully clear. Higher rents, worse jobs, thinner futures, and politicians trading in fear. But we won't mend a broken country by sneering across the divide. You don't have to agree with your neighbor to stand shoulder to shoulder outside. I know lads who vote reform out of anger, not because they dream of the past, and young ones marching for Palestine who just want something decent to last. Most people aren't monsters or saints. They're tired and worried and proud, trying to hold on to some sense of control while the whole world gets faster and loud. There's no magic money tree growing, but there's greed, waste and misquotes. And there are billionaires buying newspapers to keep us at each other's throats. Still I don't think the answer's hatred or purity. Test online. God knows we've all said foolish things when reduced to a comment line. I became a grandfather last winter, held that little girl in my hands, and suddenly every argument sounded smaller than leaving her something that stands. Not perfect, not easy, not free from mistakes or blame, but maybe a country survives when people still talk through the pain. 'Cause my kids will have it harder than I did, and their children harder still, unless we learn to disagree without destroying every ounce of common will. The world's changed more than I imagined, but one thing still feels true: no one builds a future worth leaving without listening to people they didn't choose. So I'm trying now, at this age, to speak a little less, hear a little more. 'Cause the house we handed on is cracking, and shouting won't repair the floor.